What is going on, guys? Esquire here, and today I'm going to be bringing you my first ever YouTube video, which just so happens to be a tutorial guide for the 360 plus Mob Maraudon Pull in 13.5 minutes for mages in Classic WoW. So now we find ourselves in Phase 5 of Classic WoW, and the Maraudon Pull has seen many different versions throughout the last year or so of vanilla play that we've experienced, ranging from a 160 pull to a 180 pull to a 200 pull to a 220 to 230 pull to a 270 to 280 pull to a 300 pull to a 340 pull, and now up to what we assume is going to be the pinnacle, the 360 plus Mob Maraudon Pull with no slime resets in 13.5 minutes. The previous version of this pull not only took longer, but also had mob resets. This is the true meta pull. Let's talk about some of the valuables that are going to be accessible throughout this pull in Maraudon that you should be keeping your eye out for, or possibly even reserving for your group. Elemental Earth and Solid Stone are currently used a ton in Phase 5, in particular for Goblin Sapper charges, as well as Greater Nature Protection Potions inside of AQ40. As far as herbs go as well, there are several options for you to collect a little bit of gold along the way. Fire Bloom, Winter's Bite, as well as Ghost Mushrooms are all available to drop here within Maraudon from the mobs that you are going to be killing. A few greens are going to be worth noting here. Specifically, the Band of the Unicorn is a very common green ring that will drop here in Maraudon. Incredibly valuable in Phase 1, loses its value over time, but even in Phase 5 on Fairlina, it still sells for about 15 to 25 gold a pop. Of course, along with all of the BOE greens that are going to be dropping, so do BOE blues. These are going to be ranging in value from 5 gold all the way up to sometimes 30 to 50 gold. However, a lot of these tend to be weapons, so in my groups, I like to not reserve them. I pass them along to the group for them to seek some added value, whether they want to take it to the auction house or equip it themselves. And of course, the ultimate loot drop that people are looking for within Maraudon itself are going to be the BOE World Epics. Now, there are 3 World Epics for the BOE drop tables in Maraudon that in Phase 5 Classic are going to hold the most value. And those just so happen to be in order of most valuable to least valuable: the Edgemaster's Handguards, the Flurry Axe, and the Warden Staff. Now, these 3 tend to be the fastest sell, highest value BOE epics that I've been able to source from these Maraudon pulls. After that, you should be also looking to obtain about 20 to 25 gold per person per run for this version of the Maraudon 340 mob pull. Now, it's the speed and it's the efficiency that you're looking to sell on that price. I charge 20 gold on Fairlina. That seems to be about the cap. However, we have also heard about other servers being able to accumulate 25 gold per person from these runs. Now that we've gone ahead and talked about some of the valuables that you can be looking to find while executing the 360 plus mob pull inside of Maraudon, let's begin to shift gears and discuss some of the tools that you as a mage need to bring inside of the run itself to be able to achieve success. And the first of which is going to be our talent specialization, a combination of both arcane and frost talents, but I want to first highlight the arcane side of the tree and some of the big ticket talents that we're going to be taking away. The first of which is going to be magic absorption, which gives us a bit of a boost to our resistances, but more importantly, allows every fully resisted cast on our character to also refund us 5% of our maximum mana, which can be absolutely huge and allows us to do so much during the kill phase. Another big ticket talent in the arcane tree will be arcane concentration, the ability to have clear cast not only throughout the run, but also in the kill phase can just be an added bonus. Next is going to be the Magic Attunement talent, which gives a 50% boost in effectiveness of our Dampen Magic, which decreases the amount of damage that our shields are going to be degrading as we are casted upon throughout the run and primarily in the kill phase. Make sure that your blizzards are not getting interrupted. Another talent that helps throughout the entirety of the run for when you happen to get hit by mobs is going to be Arcane Resilience, increasing our armor by 50% of our intellect. And finally, Arcane Meditation allows 10% of our mana to regenerate while we are casting. So this is going to be just another big mana boost to us throughout the entirety of the run. Shifting over to the frost side of the talent specialization, we pretty much grab everything that contributes to AoE. However, we dip out of elemental precision. Inside of Maraudon itself, the mobs are so low level that we don't need a big boost of hit to be able to hit the mobs. So we just dip out of that to allow us to go a little bit deeper into our arcane tree. But for the most part, it's going to be any type of talents that contribute to the slowing of our blizzard. If you have used any AoE farms in the past, you certainly know and can appreciate the usefulness of this talent tree. But all the way down, grab your utility, get your cold snap, get your ice block, get your ice barrier. Pretty standard as far as the frost side of the tree goes. Let's go ahead and switch gears once again and dive into another tool that mages should bring into the 360 plus Mob Maraudon Pulls. Consumables, both required and recommended. First, we will start by talking about the required consumables, and as you guessed it, the Swiftness of Zanza is at the top of the list. This 20% movement speed, 2-hour duration potion is acquired by achieving Revered Reputation with the Zandalar tribe and exchanging 1 reputational token for a potion. Pop 1 potion and buy another for the reserves as they are unique, and have 4 hours of movement speed at your fingertips. Next is going to be the Limited Invulnerability Potion, or LIP. These can save a run and save you a lot of time in the process. These take an moment and make it once again manageable. I honestly cannot stress the value of holding at least 5 of these in your bags at all time. Last but not least are going to be the Major Healing Potions and Runecloth or Heavy Runecloth Bandages. Keeping your HP values at manageable levels throughout the entirety of the run is incredibly important. You're not going to need them every run, but trust me, when you will need them, you are going to want to have them in your bags. The last required consumable that we're going to be talking about here is only required for gnomes, only because we happen to have incredibly short legs. You only need 1 Elixir of Giant Growth per run. However, if you're trying to play things incredibly safe and walk through the poison falls as well, and plan on having 2 Elixirs of Giant Growth per run, only if you are a gnome. Now we'll talk about the final 2 consumables that we take into these runs, and these are going to be recommended consumables. Not required, but boy do they help should you happen to have them in your bags and find a use for them. Nature Protection Potions, Knock Graders, as well as Iron Grenades from Engineering can be so useful and can really add to your ability to survive and effectively pull these runs off. Grenades in certain areas to keep mobs at bay or pull certain mobs, and then Nature Protection Potions to allow you to have a little bit more survivability, a little bit more shield duration so that your blizzards do not get interrupted in the kill phase. Alright, so we now find ourselves inside of Maraudon to begin the 360 plus mob pull. But first, we need to make our way to the starting point of it all, and that involves taking the Princess Portal with our scepter, winding our way through the Hydra Caverns, and then all the way up to the very first bridge that leads on over towards Princess herself. Now, in doing this, we're going to be setting up 2 particular packs of mobs to be included in the run so that we don't miss them due to RNG pathing later on. And these 2 packs are going to be the packs of Rock Guardians that go on up towards Landslide up the very first ramp, and then the other pack of Rock Guardians that path all the way down to Princess herself. Now, when we do this, it's going to be the first improvement of the run, and it's something that you need to be very careful about and execute perfectly to make sure that we don't make the pull more complex than it needs to be. As we approach this bridge, this is where we're going to make sure that all of our buffs are in order. We've got all of our mana gems summoned up, all of our consumes are ready, and this pack of Rock Guardians to our right is going to be the first pack of mobs that we concern ourselves with. This is the end of the path down here, and we're going to begin to pull them up with a Blizzard, rank 1, to then take them over to the other Rock Guardians that are pathing by Princess. You need to be very careful in this part of the run to avoid dragging these Rock Guardians anywhere too close to the large rock giants, the behemoths, so that they do not aggro, because they can serve to cause many problems throughout the entirety of the run. Sometimes they won't reset, and they can really be a thorn in your side when you've made your way through the entirety of the pull. You're feeling great, and then your kill phase just gets totally disrupted because of a mob that you can't even slow with a Blizzard. Now here's the second pack of Rock Guardians, but also you need to be careful about what we do here. We're going to aggro both packs, and we're going to take them over close to the rock behemoths, but not too close to actually draw social aggro. We're going to want a Frost Nova. Make sure that every single mob is Nova, not moving at all towards you. If you happen to get a resist or anything like that, go ahead and cold snap and re-Nova. It's not going to make too much of an issue. But with 1 second left on the Nova, you're going to want to drop off this ledge like normal. However, once you've hit the ground, start a 30-second timer to allow the mobs enough time to get closer to you as they path their way through the cavernous Maraudon so that they do not reset. Once you've done this, those mobs will not leash, and they will definitely 100% be included in your final kill count, contributing a significant amount of XP for your boosties. Our 30 seconds is almost up here, and once that is so, we're going to begin the run pretty much like normal for any of y'all who have been tuning in for the 300 plus pulls. First, a rank 1 blizzard on the Hydra down in the water, one more Hydra to go over here, and then we continue on with the pull like normal. There is one Hydra that kind of guards the entrance to the cavern down there in the water that can act as the third Hydra that will pull, but it will only pull by proximity of the social aggro with the other 2 Hydras that you have pulled with the blizzard. Sometimes it will pull, sometimes depending on where it's currently pathing, it won't pull, but don't be too upset if you only see 2 Hydras come up through the water. Now proceed with the rest of the pull like normal, aggroing the Hydra in this little grotto, and then the rocks, and continue on. And then we'll talk about a slight change, kind of the product, the chain reaction of the rocks that we started the pull off with, where that comes into play here in about 30 seconds. It's critical that at about this stage in the game, you want to have your blink off cooldown, ready to go, because those rocks that we pulled are going to start to path around this left side, and you'll see them coming in right now. Make sure that your shields are up. It's possible that you will be taking a significant amount of damage here, but hold your blink for in case you get knocked down by one of these rock guardians. They have a specific ability where it's a very high chance to knock you down when they've not been in combat for a little while. So you need to be careful. Hold your blink for it. If you do, there shouldn't be any issue. If you don't get knocked down, go ahead and blink through the rest of the mobs. Proceed with the pull like normal. But in that setup that we did with the Frost Novas to keep the mobs away from the large behemoths, the big rock giants, we've now prevented those rock giants from aggroing, and they will no longer be an issue with us. Normally, with just dropping off the ledge, those behemoths would be in and about this area. But now we don't even have to deal with them. The pull is easy peasy, back to just how it used to be. Continue to work your way now through the rest of the path, making sure that you pull every single mob. Some of them will pull by a social. However, the Dimetrodons need to all be aggroed. At least one of the 3 mobs in every Dimetrodon pack has to be aggroed by either your proximity or by actually casting on it. Otherwise, they will not social aggro onto the other Dimetrodons. In the previous version of the pull, when we were setting up the rock mobs like we did at the start of this pull, you would kind of be hoping that at about this stage in the game that they would be in their proper pathing positions for you to go ahead and pull regardless. But what we came to find was most of the time that just wasn't so. So now we no longer have to worry about them. They're already aggroed behind us, and we continue to pull like normal. Blink through, get ready to drop off, and then prepare a rank 1 blizzard for all the mobs that are going to be working their way back down this ramp towards you. Rank 1 Blizzard goes down, and this is going to work significantly just to get the mobs in a more manageable pack before we continue on and weave through the Hydra caverns to begin pulling all of the rest of the Hydras. Now, too much management of the pack can be a bad thing, but there are going to be a few good points within the run that are kind of necessary, are very nice to use just to make sure that everything is nice and clean by the kill phase. While you're inside of the Hydra caverns themselves, it, at the end of the day, is kind of up to you as to how many you pull and how many you're comfortable with, kind of weaving your way through here. But this is the ideal path that I've come to find is the most efficient at making sure that you get every single Hydra while also avoiding any of the type of damage, while also kind of working as a bit of a folding technique on the mobs to get them even more packaged before we then continue even further into the run itself. This will be the last Hydra that we actually pull. The other Hydra inside of this area of the cavern is going to social pull to the rest of the mobs coming through the cavern. But it's at this point of the run where we need to first pop our Elixir of Giant Growth. It allows us to walk through the water in that specific area of the pull, and that's really the only reason why we need the elixir in this part of the run. Once you've done that, get on out of the water and continue on with the rest of the borers. Now this is essentially the starting point of the 180 mob pull, and so many more of you might even be familiar with this part of the run. But we're going to be taking it pretty much the same with a little bit more technique in our pathing to make sure that the mobs, again, always stay as clean and packaged as possible. For this sequence up here, it can be one of the trickier borer paths to pull. What I like to do is start off with an Arcane Explosion, a Fire Blast onto the left pack, and then a Counter Spell onto the right pack, and a quick Blink out of there. Again, Blink does not share the GCD. There is no GCD on Counter Spell, so you can blink immediately as soon as that pack is pulled with your Counter Spell. This is essentially going to be the second area of the pull where we work on some of the management of the pack itself. A quick blink here and a rank 1 blizzard will get all of the hydras nicely managed and allow some of the borers that were lagging behind to get nice and caught up. But another technique that we're going to be implementing in this pull itself is going to be a folding technique where we have the mobs fold in on one another by use of clever pathing on our behalf, and clever pathing will on the mob's behalf as well. We've now finished with the princess side of Maraudon. We've also finished with the Hydra caverns, and it's now time for us to move on into the Poison Falls. And this is where the mechanic starts to come into play that will prevent any of the mobs from resetting. This is the part of the run that you need to be very focused on to make sure that you're always going to be hitting those high mob target numbers. Those 360 plus runs are only achievable if you pay close attention and execute the sequence properly on the sludges coming up in about a minute's time. But make your way through the Poison Falls. I pop another Elixir of Giant Growth here to make things easy, and I walk through the water without any difficulty whatsoever. Now, I walk through the water in that first part, but also the part coming up after this rock on the right is going to be a little bit too deep for the little old gnome to make their way through without having the growth potion on. But it allows you to properly miss all of the sisters, don't get too close to any of the dangerous mobs in this area, and get everything pulled the way you need to. Once we've aggroed all of the shamblers, we're going to want to blink up here. Get a Frost Nova on all of these slimes, a rank 1 blizzard on the side of the ledge here that's going to half aggro the slimes in that area. It's a very great technique that saves a lot of time and also adds a lot of mobs to the kill count. And then an Arcane Explosion on this pack. We blink right through that pack, they will aggro. But the first key here, make sure to get a Fire Blast on that very first sludge. That is part number 1 of making sure that your mobs do not reset. Part number 2 is going to be coming up on the second packs of sludge right up here on our left. Now you're going to want to aggro, rather target, the sludge that I just targeted, the middle one, and get a counterspell. Continue working your way through the water on your right, and then make sure very quickly you get another Fire Blast on the very first sludge in that room as soon as possible. Once you've executed those 3 parts of this run, you have guaranteed that none of the slimes, none of the Dimetrodons, and mostly none of the borers are going to be resetting, maximizing your XP and efficiency for not only gold farming, but also your boosties and their XP per hour. Work your way down the stairs. Try to at least cut into this half circle room to get the mobs to do a little bit of a half circle as well, thus folding them in once again. Get a nice blizzard on the stairs. This is critical to make sure that the mobs are going to be staying far enough behind you to give you enough time to pull the side room coming up here on the right. A rank 1 Frostbolt on one of the right satyrs. We pop a counter spell on the one directly in front of us, and then a quick Fire Blast on the back satyr on the far left side to aggro everything inside of the room. Once you've done that, make your way over towards the purple side of Maraudon to close out the pull and get ready for the kill phase. You're able to drop a rank 1 blizzard right there very quickly, and if you're lucky with the pathing of the trees, you can get both of the remaining stompers down there in one rank 1 blizzard with one tick, just enough to pull them and continue on. Make sure that you're always blinking to stay ahead of the hydras, but we are going to be prepping up a nade for this next part. Now this is probably one of the most difficult parts of the run, but it saves a little bit of time. A nade goes out to aggro those mobs, and then we continue forward to the ramp to begin setting up for the kill phase. There are a few blizzards in this room that we're about to execute that are incredibly important to making sure that the pack is clean as possible moving forward. The next blizzard that we're going to be doing is coming up right here. We're going to Nova these mobs, keep them in place and off of us, blink forward before we get to this small little mini ramp, and drop one more blizzard on top of these mobs. This is going to be our last blizzard before we get to the ice block reset on the T-post and shave off a significant amount of time of this run. The mobs work their way around. Once the hydras have gotten far enough to the left to not hit us as soon as we jump onto the post, we jump. This is a jump that you need to practice. You're probably going to have a little bit of difficulty with it at first, but once you're comfortable with it, time after time after time, you're going to be able to nail it. We ice block, let the mobs pass you. Once you're free and clear of the mobs, get everything prepared for this kill phase. Get your shields up, mana shield, ice barrier. Make sure that you have your dampen magic up. Make sure that you also have your mage armor on, and then a rank 1 blizzard to get the mobs nicely packed before we jump on up, blink forward, and get on over to the old reset post that you know and love, the one that we've used forever here inside of Maraudon, and we will be using finally once again after this new pull has pretty much been accomplished. Blizzards go down, and you're basically just going to be doing whatever you can to keep the mobs nice and stacked, avoid taking too much damage. Shield management, whether it be with ice barrier, mana shield, or even a nature protection potion, is going to be critical here to make sure that the mobs do not lose their blizzard chill and are able to continue moving in a slow and nicely tightly grouped pack. One thing that you are able to do here in this kill phase of the run is let the mobs get all the way up past that post right in front of us, and you can sort of kill off some of the sprites to eliminate too much of that nature damage that you're going to be taking throughout the kill phase part of the run. But keep on blizzarding is going to be the name of the game. Keep on resetting them back down the ramp, and you have almost achieved a 360 plus mob pull at this stage in the game. The final mobs will be dying here, and we're going to be looking to see just how many mobs we got in this run. Once we got up to about 350 mobs and I still saw so many mobs left alive, I knew at this stage in the game that we had something special here inside of this run. It was going to be a massive kill count pull. So many sprites still alive as well. We're going to kill them off right here, and it will give us our total tally. Now, for the purposes of flexing, we will include the snakes, and for the purposes of actually being completely truthful with it, we will go ahead and take the snakes out. But it did end up being a 372 mob run. If you take out these 7 snakes, the only critters here in this pull, then we ended up with 365 mobs, which totaled up to 42,000 experience for a level 48 character in a full group. Now, if you think about those XP values, they're absolutely insane. And that's going to be it for the 360 plus Mob Maraudon Pull in 13.5 minutes. Before we sign off, a few closing remarks. I want to first say, if you execute the strategy exactly as I've explained and shown, you will never have resets of any of the slimes, Dimetrodons, or borers in this pull, and you'll be able to consistently pull 360 plus mobs per run. Also, be looking to keep your pull to kill phases around 13 to 14 minutes. If they're any longer than this, then you're probably doing something wrong. It will take you about 1 minute to get to the pull start location and 2 minutes to loot all of the mobs once the kill phase has concluded. Also, your boosties, they're going to be getting around 38 to 42,000 experience per run at a level range of 40 to 51, and as a result, they're going to be incredibly happy with the progress that they are achieving in your boosts. These XP markers are totally insane for this level, and anyone is going to be happy to be in your group as long as you're pulling the runs off efficiently and successfully. With that said, you'll be rocking around 3.5 runs per hour, and that will break down to around 140,000 XP per hour for your boosties. Incredible numbers that everyone is going to be happy about. Your boosties are going to be incredibly happy about the XP, and you, as the mage, are going to be overjoyed with all of the gold that you are making. Alright, that's going to do it for our first ever YouTube video. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment down below. We've got more videos coming to you very soon, and I cannot wait to release them to you all. Also, make sure to check out the description down below for links to my Twitch stream, where we stream World of Warcraft 6 days a week, as well as links to my Twitter and community Discord to stay updated on all of the happenings. If you've got any recommendations for future videos or questions, reach out to me or drop them down below in the comments. Take care, guys, and we will see you for the next one.